Perfect. Okay, I would ask that people return to their pews and fill out a ballot. Remember, you are voting for 5 people. The names of those 2 nominated from the floor are on the handout that was passed around. So you have their names, Catherine Hyde and Nancy Brain. So we'll do that. The Bancrofts are going to be our tellers, so I'll ask them to collect the ballots, and then we'll move on to our next business. Should I vote for Sam? Yes. No, we trust everybody. John and George are collecting them. They'll come to your rows just like a usher. John. Thank you. So after the ballots are collected, we're going to ask Tim. Well, wait a minute. No. We're going to recognize our retiring wardens and vestry members. Yeah. It's clear in the crowd. Yes. Yes. You should have Catherine Hyde and Nancy Brain at the bottom of that vestry list. Thank you, Mary. Yeah.
Thank
you. Okay. What do you need? Oh. Okay, has everybody's ballot been collected? Anybody still have a ballot? A couple left. While the ballots are being collected, I'm going to make Dean's appointment to standing committees. They're listed in your program. They have all consented already. And that is John Watson at Finance, Sam Spencer, Endowment, Claire Hammond to Buildings and Grounds, Priscilla Webster to Columbarium Memorial Garden, and Randy Hogan to Stewardship. Now, Randy is new to the... Randy, where is she here? Could you just stand so people can see you? I don't know that everybody knows you, but Randy is new, but she comes with a lot of experience in stewardship, and we're thrilled to have her on our team. So thank you, Randy. Are all the ballots collected now? Okay. The old days at Diocesan Convention, voting took hours because of collecting ballots and things. Okay. At this time, I would like to invite up front here Anna Klein Christie, Peter Bingham, Jamie Koff, Gail Anglin, and Joe DeKay. I just want you to stand up. I'm going to give you a gift. So we have a tradition here of giving gifts to our retiring vestry members, even though you might be reelected. Is that Jamie or Joanne? I can't. Okay. Gail. Jamie, hold on, there's more. And Peter and Anna. So this is just a small token to say thank you for your service on the vestry and your ministry to all of us. So congratulations and thank you so much. Okay, and while I'm up here and I have gifts, is Rebecca Grant and Suzanne Roberts, are they both here? Come up here for a second. They're still having technical difficulties at the table. Come on up, I have a little something for you. This is just a little gift for both of you to say thank you for your service and for helping us out. Thank you. And Tim Wilkins, if you could come up. And we're going to have a little finance section. Now, we had a lot on finance last week, but just in case there's questions. But Tim, this is also a gift for you, to say thank you to you for all that you do. Do you want to take the microphone maybe and see if there's any questions? The budget material in your annual report, there's a whole section, page 24 to 37, but it's all the material that you saw last week in the presentation to the parish. So, but if there's any questions, this is a good time for Tim. Any questions for Tim? Okay, if there are no questions for Tim, the way that our polity work, the vestry approves the budget, but I would like the annual meeting to accept the budget that the vestry's approved. Is there a motion to accept the budget as presented? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? That was the easiest budget conversation we've had in 18 years. Thank you. I do want to say about Tim and Sam Spencer, John Watson, who led the Finance Committee. The people who work in finance here have huge jobs, and Tim puts in many, many hours. And we do have a bookkeeper, but Tim keeps it all going. I just want to really say thank you to you. It looks like we're still waiting on the video, so we will move ahead now. And what I would like to do, let me make sure I'm not missing something else here. No, what I really want to do is to recognize ministers and ministries. I'm just going to go down the list here, and it's an opportunity for people to stand and us to recognize them. But if you have questions or something, it's also a time to ask. Who here is on the healing team? Can you please stand for a moment just so we can recognize you? Just wonderful, wonderful work. Any questions or anything for the healing team? No, but thank you very much. How about the Altar Guild? Stand up if you're part of the Altar Guild. There we go. Thank you. These folks are always here, and it's not just Sundays, it's weddings, it's funerals, it's baptisms, it's the dean deciding to do something funky, and they help out, and it's just wonderful. Thank you. And who helped lead Compline and morning prayer and other services like that during COVID? Is anybody here from that? Sam is part of that. You know, the Flynns were part of that, and they're not here right now. Ray's part of Heather. Yeah, Heather and Ray were a big part of that. Just thank you so much. Music. Well, of course, we've got Christian, but if you've been part of the music program, please stand so we could just celebrate you for a moment. Christian, stand up and join us. Thank you. Okay, the deacons, it has plural, but I think there should be there's an apostrophe there. Rebecca, we salute you. Thank you. Who here has read Prayers of the People, been a lector or part of that ministry? Okay. Ushers? Any ushers there? The same people stood up. That's great. Thank you. Okay. Christian education. Sarah, but there's many others who have helped out. I want you to know that during COVID, Sarah did crafts every week, and because the mail was so unpredictable, she drove kits to all the kids' houses and really went above and beyond to keep it going. And now it's, as I said in my sermon, it's coming back. So it's really exciting. So thank you so much. Noon Zoom was a new thing. So who are Noon Zoomers? Sam and Jack, but there's more, I think, in the room here. Noon Zoom has become its own community, and really, Nancy, just delightful. Thank you. And anybody involved in pastoral care. We had people do visits. We had people visit people in their homes and bring food and things like that. And thank you to everyone who did that. And where are we here? Oh, kneelers and prayer shawls. My goodness. Kneelers and prayer shawls. Please stand for a moment. There you go. Okay, I'm going to have everybody involved in outreach. Yeah, Rebecca. I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. Flowers. Flowers, stand up. I did? Okay, well, anyway, I did it again. Anybody involved in outreach, there's all kinds of outreach. So if you're involved in any of our service to the wider community, to those in need, or under outreach is also social justice and public policy. Just stand up for a moment. And in that was the kitchen. Are people, who is on the kitchen team here or helps with the kitchen? Just, you know, there's a lot of really wonderful stuff. Are we almost ready?
It's not connecting.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it is, I tell you what, this wonderful video is on our website, and it is linked to in our epistle. And I'm really sorry. I want to say thank you to Avery and Curtis for working with us. Actually, Avery, come here for a sec. Stop playing with that because it's obviously not working. So we move into marketing and evangelism, which really has to do with communications and information technology. I already in my sermon mentioned Jack and Sam doing the live stream, and you guys stand up for a second because you guys are just amazing. But what I also want to highlight is this gentleman right here. Avery is new, and he is taking it on. And you have to realize that he actually goes to another church. So he blew them off to be with us today. And it's just great to have you here. But really, he not only does the office work, but he has done the web and the epistle and all this, and Facebook and Instagram and everything else. And it really has gone light years from where we were. And so, Avery, it's great. And his video is fantastic, and you do need to watch it, but it's just a good way to click through that website a little bit more. But thank you. If the Holy Connection works. We've been working on that for a long time. So that does bring me back to finance. We already talked about finance, but are there any questions related to any of that business side of things? I would like you to look at the numbers, not right now, but as you look at the numbers of attendance, it's tracked there for about 20 years, and you can see that. you can see actually each service, how they were doing and what it does. And you can see the live views. And it really is kind of interesting to know what goes on here and everything like that. The Episcopal Church measures what they call ASA, average Sunday attendance, but they've just started asking other questions like, how many people do you serve during the week in your outreach programs? And what is your weekly attendance? In other words, what happens to your stuff during the week? And what's wonderful is that's going to give a much fuller study of who the church is. They're also going to start asking for demographic information in our reports on race, on age, on gender preference, on everything. And all that data, I think, again, it's so the Episcopal Church can really move and grow into the future. One of the things that Avery has worked on very hard is a new database for our membership. The database is called REALM, R-E-A-L-M, and the database we currently use was built before this projector that's not working was built. And so this REALM, the new database, will be fantastic, and everybody will be able to update their own information. And you'll be able to track your own information, and we'll be able to use it in a lot of ways that we just haven't been able to do before. That is almost ready to launch, and you will see it soon coming to you through the web. If you do not get the epistle, and I realize a lot of people don't because they didn't know about today, please contact the office or go to the website and just sign up through there so that we can get you on board. Are you still trying? You're still trying. So I'll keep talking. Yeah. I can't understand what your word is. You made it will be anonymous? Yeah, your data, like your name, and you changed your email, you can change that. It'll be passworded to you, right? So the data, like race, age, whatever that they're using, no, they just want aggregate numbers. In fact, we were asked to do that this year, and we just don't have it. We could make it up, but that wouldn't be, we just haven't tracked it, right? So you'll start seeing some questions for that. And it's really to help us fight anti-racism and to celebrate diversity and realize who we are or who we want to become. So that's exciting, but it's not here yet. Are you going to keep trying, or are we done? Okay, it's not. That's all right. That's all right. I want to give the wardens some time if they would like to say something. And then we have a word about the transition and the search. So Anna or Claire, do you have anything you want to say to the group?
I think that's you surprising me because we're trying to fill time. It's okay. I am aware that I'm going to be speaking and consequently don't have a lot of words.
Oh, don't worry, Jack. Don't worry. I'm sorry, they're using all these defects. No, we're just, the next thing on business is really about the search and the transition time. Okay.
Yes, I'm happy to answer any questions. Well, that's why I actually know that I'm speaking and consequently don't have
Take the mic.
remarks.
Take the mic. It's working.
Okay. You want to hear my non-remarks? Yes, I think the only point of interest is really the transition with Ben moving forward. But there's been a lot of conversation around that already. We have, Paul is going to be starting
Tomorrow, essentially.
tomorrow, essentially.
Well, Sam
But as
has
I say, I think that's kind of...
That's fine. Sam Allen will talk about that. So, any questions for Anna? I just want to say thank you for serving in a real transitional time and for being there And we truly appreciate you and all that you've done. Thank you.
Well, I will say that it was an honor, so thank you.
And does Claire Hammond want to say anything? Where'd she go? Do- Okay. Thank you, Claire. So I'm going to ask Sam Allen to come forward and tell you a little bit about the next phase of our life. And hold the mic close, please. Sorry about that. Thanks for being here.
I'm still a presumptive senior warden, but I was just given the keys. I do want to thank the wardens for their service, Anna especially, who's rotating off, for Claire, who is staying on and completing her term as junior warden, and I'm looking forward to working with her, for all of the people who have served and are rotating off. And I was hoping to greet the new people, the new roster of people, but we'll be greeting them soon. And it's just really important to have people step forward and contribute time and talent. And I know there are ministries that, although we're doing really well, the more help, the better. And as a former junior warden, I think I recognize one of the places where we do need more help is people to come and help take care of the building and show up on work days and things like that. So you'll be hearing more from me about many of these things. I believe you're all aware that we are facing a time of transition. The very first order of business really is to celebrate Ben's accomplishments, his love and care for this community, and give Ben a kind of wonderful celebration that he deserves. And I remind everyone that on February 4th, Saturday coming up, we're having a big party here at 6 p.m. And it will be, the part of it with the speeches will be live streamed. So one of us, Jack or I, will be operating that. That'll be great. So regarding the transition, we have a week where we'll be waiting with bated breath for this big party. But today is really Ben's last day here to be serving with us. The Reverend Paul St. Germain, who is a retired priest from Ohio, many of you may have met him when he was here for a Sunday service, I think 2 weeks ago. Paul and I have met a couple of times beginning in December, and Paul will have the title of Transition Priest in Charge. With that title, Priest in Charge, come all of the supervisory roles that the dean has. In other words, he will be taking care of staff, worship, programs, and he will be working with the vestry to help the parish move forward in the next phase of the transition. Paul has scheduled a family trip in May, and so his time is pretty much limited to between now and the end of April. So he will be with us. He will be here during Lent. He has some exciting ideas about Lenten programs. And honestly, I said to Paul the last time we met in the office, I said, Paul, it sounds like we're going to have a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I think you'll all really enjoy this time. I also met with the bishop, and we talked about the transition. I think there are a lot of details that we don't know yet. The bishop will be attending the meeting on February 15th. It'll be the first meeting of what is most properly called the lesser chapter, but most of you think of it as the vestry. He will be joining us. The bishop is actually a member of this group, but typically hasn't attended regularly the monthly meetings that we have. So the bishop will be selecting someone to be interim dean. And that person, we hope, will start very soon after Paul St. Germain's tenure finishes. And so we can expect that we, fingers crossed, will have an interim dean beginning in May. Beyond that, I don't think anyone knows exactly what the schedule will be, but the processes that will happen are typically that there will be a process of discernment for the cathedral that will talk about defining who we are and talking about some of our own ideas about how we see the cathedral moving forward, and prepare a document that would be readily available to anyone who would be interested in applying for that position. So I would imagine, and again, it's up in the air as to the timing, but I would imagine that that process would get underway in the fall, and at some time, perhaps in the winter, we would advertise the job and begin to screen and interview candidates. And it's the bishop's hope that we would have someone maybe mid-2024, so that the interim position that starts in May, we will be with that person for roughly a year. And that will be a time they will help us in the process of discernment and help us better understand who we are, and with the prospect of new leadership, who we want to be, and then we'll be in a good position to interview people and make a wise decision. So I think we will know more, and I will be reporting to you my capacity as presumptive senior warden regularly on how this process is unfolding. I expect we'll know a lot more after we meet with the bishop on February 15. Let's see. So, in the meantime, we still have an associate priest, Rebecca. We have a deacon, Rebecca, right. Associate priest, Suzanne. We have a deacon, Rebecca. And Paul St. Germain's work for us will be essentially half-time. He will be in the office and available on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he will be available on call at all other times. It still leaves with a half-time priest. It still leaves quite a bit of a vacuum in terms of coverage of services and things that are going to come up that clergy priests need to do. So my wife, Ann Fowler, and Christian's husband, Christopher, both ordained priests, have come forward, and they have been appointed assisting clergy for this period. That was approved by the vestry at the meeting in December. And they also will be serving part-time, and they're already started figuring out who is going to do the worship and who is going to preach and things like that, those responsibilities. Avery has very capably put together some kind of app that allows them to sign up for things and coordinate what they're doing. So now I think I'm into filling time, Ben.
So I want to say thank you, Sam, for stepping up, and as a presumptive senior warden for at least a few minutes while waiting for the ballots. But thank you. One of the things you need to know, as Sam said, the bishop is involved in this search, and the bishop has a different role with the cathedral than he does with all the other congregations. In fact, he's actually the head of the cathedral. There's what's called the greater chapter, and then the lesser chapter is what we call the vestry. So he will be here and very supportive, as he already has been. But thank you, Sam. I would like, go ahead.
Before you take over.
Yeah, please.
I just want to say what a wonderful friend Ben has become since we started worshiping here in 2014, and it's been a real pleasure to work with him. I know as a clergy spouse how important it is to have a supportive family and supportive spouse. And I think I can say for myself that the many things that I did in my career and have done here at St. Luke's have been made all the better through the support of my wife. And I'm sure that Ben feels equally as appreciative as for Sherry and also Katie and your son. Yeah. I'm drawing a blank on name.
He moved away.
Thank you. So, Sherry, thank you. There'll be more opportunity to thank them and for all of us to greet and thank them next Saturday. The question is, when do I anticipate a search committee being formed? Sometime in the early fall. It's sort of a guess, but yes. How that process will happen, all I can say is there is nothing spelled out in either the Constitution of the cathedral or the bylaws about just what process would be followed, which means it's really up to the bishop. I didn't address that. Okay, the question is, how long will the clergy spouse assisting clergy roles go on? And I don't know that that's been decided. So I think that's another thing that is up to the bishop, really.
And one of the things to be aware of that, because they are spouses of a warden or a staff person, is that they are supervised by Paul St. Germain, not by the wardens or the vestries. So there's a delineation there, so people are aware. Mary?
Mary. My understanding is that search is not really the right word because the bishop will be making that appointment. But I'm quite certain it would be from anywhere.
Mary, I'll tell you that the St. Albans in Cape and St. Mary's in Falmouth and Brunswick, St. Paul's, all had interims recently, and they were all from away. I mean, they were all from out of state. There are people who are trained in this and kind of like going around, just live in different parts of the country. So it's hard to tell. There are good people in Maine, too, so I have no control over that. Here's Suzanne. Is the interim chosen by the bishop? That's the question, Sam.
Yes. Yes. That's why I said it's not really a search, that involves us. And Shanna.
So, I guess one question I had that's a little bit related to this. So the search for the canon priest has been delayed until after we get the team. Is that correct?
Okay, so now I'm on a little, I may need help on this because I have not been on the vestry, and I'm not sure. I know I've read the minutes of the vestry for the past year or so, but I'm not quite sure the answer to that.
So the question about is the canon pastor, the position that Eleanor had, because we are putting some money in the budget for that this year. I think, Shana, there's an assumption that the new dean should be part of that, but none of this is solid at the. I mean, I think this is all evolving, so just hold tight. I mean, because it's hard. That's not completely clear. But the basic idea is that you'd wait, but maybe the right person will come around and we don't need to.
I think in my mind, it's quite clear that it's everyone's desire to have that position filled ultimately. There's a real commitment in terms of financial planning, et cetera, to have that position refilled. Question of timing.
Any other questions for Sam or anything about the search or anything about any of this? We're taking a little bit of time because we're waiting for the ballots. So this is an opportunity. If not, I'm going to make you sing. Okay. I would like you to turn in your hymn, Ralph.
Oh, okay. Yes, the Reverend Paul St. Germain will be here in the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and will be celebrating and preaching in a lot during the period between now and May. Oh yes, absolutely. I know he told me that there is one Sunday that he's going to be away, and it happens to be St. Patrick's Day. I remember.
But that's where we do have we've got a good bench, and in fact a bigger bench than we've had. So I think that will be good. You need to know also that Paul is helping out also at Trinity Church in Lewiston, and Trinity is very small, but he is doing some things back and forth. That's why he's not full time with us. But we've got it worked out, and it'll be fine. But just so you're aware of that, I'd like you to pick up the blue hymnals in the slot in the pew that Sam Allen helped build. That blue hymnal, page 711, Seek Ye First. And how many of you were here when Christian auditioned? When Christian auditioned, we had 2 churches full of people here listening to him, St. Albans and us. And people just shouted numbers at him and said, Christian, play this. And he did. It was amazing. So let's stand and we'll sing hymn 711. It is kind of a round. And so if this side does the first part of the round and this side does the second, we'll see what happens. But Seek Ye First, 711.
Hello? If I can have order in the House? Okay, the votes have come in. And for vestry, we have Jamie Koff, Jamie Moore, Nancy Brain, Michael Thorne, and Catherine Hyde. For delegates to the convention, we have Curtis Morand, Orion Williams, Fred Fowler, Judd Hume, and Gail Anglin. And we have Sam Allen as senior warden. Thank you all for sticking around. It's been a pleasure to serve you. And I don't have that.
Is this in order of, where's our counters? So if it's in order of counts, so there were, wait a minute, three-year terms. So the 3-year terms are Jamie Koff, Jamie Moore, Nancy Brain. The 2-year term is Michael Thorne. Is Mike here? And the 1-year term is Catherine Hyde. Okay? That makes sense, everybody? I want to say this is the first time in several years that we've had a contested election. That is more than the number of people on the ballots. And Vestry intentionally wanted to do that because they wanted to give the congregation a real voice and not just feel like they were rubber stamping. What that means is some people ran and didn't get elected. And so I really want to thank those who ran regardless of what happened, because the mere fact that you're there shows that you are valued and loved and appreciated in this community. So big thanks to everyone. Yeah, thank you. I want to thank Dan McDonald for being our clerk today, and Georgia and John Bancroft. This counting was far more than we anticipated, and thank you so much. Okay, it is past time. I want to say thank you for hanging out. It was a long service. Thank you, Jamie and Meredith Koff, for doing the coffee hour today, and for all of you for being here. I'd like to stand and end with a doxology. Just the last verse of hymn 380, but I think you might know this. If you don't, just hum along. It goes like this. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Praise him, all creatures here below. Praise him above, ye heavenly host. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen. I'm not going to say goodbye because I'll see you on Saturday. Let us go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God. Oh, I tell you what. We did it. Amazing. It was. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm trying to get to the symphony, so
I know. Well, that's what Christian just did. Right of